Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Cody Delmendo, Jared Willis, Luke Stuckmeyer, and hopefully later, Ryan Herrera joining us after the Cubs beat the Red Sox 6-5 to start your Independence Day weekend. Cody's feeling the holiday vibes. He's got his fresh kicks on. He's got a Cubs win.
It's a good day. It's a good day. It's just nice to win one. It's nice to win 3 in a row.
3 in a row, Cody.
3 in a row. You got to savor the flavor. All right.
Yeah.
We're also undefeated in July. Just saying.
That's right.
Facts. FAX. Facts.
And the only undefeated team in July, I believe.
Yeah.
As of this
right
moment,
now, yeah, the only team in baseball undefeated in July.
So there you go.
I'm going to tweet that from the Chicago Cubs, or the CHGO Cubs account right now, actually.
Really, the crazy part about it is I had given up all hope in the second inning. 4-0, entering the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th inning, right? And the Cubs are down 4 runs, and you're thinking, this is absolutely over. Rich Hill is cruising along, and sure enough, the wheels came off for him, and I think the mistake of the game was the Red Sox leaving in Rich Hill when clearly he had tweaked his knee just a little bit. Well, I would have taken him out.
Yeah, I mean the wheel may literally have come off. He, looked like he tweaked his knee a little bit.
Yeah.
And, he waved him off and said, no, I'm fine. But I think Cora there needs to say, no, I realize you're saying you're fine.
Yeah.
However, I'll make this decision. But, yeah, left him in a few batters too long, and then that really turned the tides. It put the Cubs in a position to they scored 3 runs, and so they're within a run. So it changes the whole tenor of the game at that point. So, yeah, because I'm with you. Up until then, this was
looked over
in a different direction. Yeah,
Sampson had a terrible beginning to the game. The first 2 innings were brutal, but you have to give him some real credit here because they're not in the position they were in the 5th inning without him turning it around. Like, you want to talk about wheels coming off. It could have really gone downhill and been over, but he turned it around, and then after giving up those 4 runs, stopped it.
Yeah.
Stopped the bleeding and kept the Cubs at least within striking distance in case something like this would happen, and it did.
He did what you always want your starting pitcher to be able to do. Yeah, things looked real rough. There was a lot of hard contact in the beginning. I mean, he was close to giving up back-to-back homers on his first 2 pitches.
Real close.
Yeah. I mean, it missed by like this much.
Game of inches, baby.
I mean, the early results from the Red Sox bats looked like, man, Sampson's going to have a rough time getting out of the first inning. But then even in the second, it continued to struggle. It just felt like this David Ross is going to have to go to the bullpen early. It's going to be one of those kinds of days. And so he deserves a ton of credit for this win, too, just for keeping it at 4 runs so that his offense could catch up from there.
Yeah, no, I think I tweeted it from my own account. I tweeted from the CHGO Cubs account, the start for Sampson wasn't great at the beginning, but one thing that we have not seen consistently all season is just having starters who are able to figure it out. That was one of the things, and Corey's in the chat, and he'll love this, that John Lester was able to do during his Cubs tenure. On days that he didn't have it, he still managed. He still found a way to get you 5 or 6, except for those random ones where he'd be taken out in the first inning after giving up 10 runs. But that was like once a year.
Right.
And I'm not saying – it's hard to, compare because, none of these guys are like John Lester. John Lester is a borderline Hall of Famer at worst. He, in my opinion, belongs in one day.
Red Sox tie-in, by the way.
Right. Thank you. But Sampson, he struggles to start, but still gave you 5. And, to me, that's the thing that's impressive and encouraging because how every time we've seen a guy go out there and just get blown up on the first couple innings, and then their pitch count is ballooned by the 3rd or 4th, and they can't even get you 5. He saved the bullpen a little bit today.
Yeah.
He kept the Cubs in it, and I don't know what Sampson is. I don't. I said it earlier. In the second half of last year, was actually one of the bright spots of after the trade deadline last year. And I was honestly kind of surprised he really didn't start the year with the team or wasn't called up earlier. But, like, honestly, in his Cubs tenure, he's been very productive.
And a game like today is good not only in the short term in that he helps his team stay in the game so they can win, but like Cody, like you're saying, when a starter can sort of gut it out and give you 6 innings or so over the big picture, what that does for your bullpen when they're not being asked to go out and cover that many more innings, that that stuff matters over the stretch of a whole season. How many pitches are you asking your bullpen arms to throw? That makes a difference too. Now, granted, some of these bullpen arms for the Cubs, we're talking about guys who are probably going to be pitching for other teams in a few weeks, but trade value, whatever, all that stuff matters. It's helpful. So, really good day from Sampson for today, but also I think over the long term, that's something that, I think needs to be acknowledged as well. Is he's helping his team.
He keeps this going.
Trade value up? Well, no. We'll get to the trade value up.
I'll think about that, but I will say that he keeps this going in the month of July. If they're able to move a Drew Smyly or even a Wade Miley somehow, some way, I mean, he might as well stick in there because, again, it's been only a few appearances, but he's been good enough.
Yeah.
And, you can evaluate at the end of the year. So, I don't know what he is. Maybe at the end of the day, he's kind of like a Mark Leiter junior guy, maybe 1 or 2 inning guy, multiple inning, whatever. But, I mean, he's touching 93, 94. It's not like he's throwing super soft out there. Like, I don't know what was kind of those issues in that first inning based off watching from the couch. But, like, as soon as he gave up those 3 runs where they made it 4-0, he then got 3 outs pretty quickly. And they were very easy outs, too. And it just kind of started to roll until the 5th inning.
Yeah, he found a rhythm there. Yeah.
I love David's comment in the chat. He says, this is getting monotonous. Nothing to gripe about. Cubs win 3 in a row.
Good.
We can't even complain about Hayward not being in the lineup.
Yeah. Can't even complain about Jonathan VR. Hell, even Andrelton Simmons had a good day today. 2 walks.
Yeah.
1 walk leading to the big comeback.
That's right.
It's a small sample size, but there's nothing to complain about right here.
Within the last 3 days.
Yeah. Cubs are unbeatable right now. I want to ask Corey, who I think is still watching if he hasn't given up for the holiday, what I mentioned in the pregame show. He just said John Lester. He was all excited. John Lester. So what's the best thing the Cubs have ever received that had a Red Sox tie into it? Is it John Lester? Is it Theo? Is it Jed? Is it Rossi? Is it Rizzo? Is it the Wrigley renovations? What's your favorite part that Boston has donated to Wrigley Field, being a Cubs fan, the Cubs organization? What's the best thing we've pulled from Boston?
I think in a lot of ways, definitely on the player side of thing, John Lester, when he signed with the Cubs, I think that was the signal that there's a paradigm shift happening here. Because at that time, like, for them to get a top tier free agent pitcher like that, I mean, we kind of forget a little bit. He was really that first domino.
Yeah.
And it was John Lester's coming. This is big. Things are changing. Now, obviously, Theo, it's...
Right. The answer is Theo.
Right.
But also, Theo did have some mistakes. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't perfect. Lester, you can't complain too much about what he did. Like,
I think he changed...
If it's not Theo, the answer is probably Lester, not Rizzo for me.
Yes, because I think...
Lester just pitched in so many big games.
And everything that happened after that, when you start talking about looking at other free agents that then wanted to come to the Cubs, it changed the perception of the franchise when John Lester said, I'm betting on those guys, I'm signing there. That was huge. And so, in the grand scheme of Chicago free agent signings across all sports,
he's up there.
He's way up there for me.
He's 1, 2, or 3. He's in that mix for sure. Jack says, no. It's going to be the Cubs prospect they get when they trade David Robertson to the Red Sox. Still could be coming.
Trade him this evening.
Yeah, don't wait.
That Red Sox bullpen, man.
They need help.
They need some help, and it's been an issue all year. I know they've been red hot. That's another reason why I'm excited about this win. Like, it's not like they just beat the Reds. They beat a good baseball team. You know what I mean? Like, the Red Sox have been red hot. Their lineup has some really good hitters. And, you know, Rich Hill, before the whole knee thing happened, it looked like the Rich Hill revenge game. Okay? Like, it did not. I was like, man, this is really happening. We're wearing City Connects on a Friday, 120, immaculate vibes here, summertime shy, and Rich Hill is coming in here to shove it down our throats. And then whatever happened to his knee, I don't know. I hope he's okay. But, like, they should have taken him out, and they didn't, and it cost them because that Red Sox bullpen did not come in and shut the Cubs down. They walked a lot of guys. There was obviously some big hits in there too, and again, like it's just nice. It's just nice to beat a good team like that.
And this is a good showcase series too, because for a Boston team that so clearly needs bullpen help, you're getting a first-hand look at, hey, we've got some really good reliever arms here. So maybe when you guys fly out on Sunday, you just take one or two of them with you.
Yeah, you guys really want to pay up? Check out Ian Happ.
Yeah.
Showcase number 3.
There you go. Yeah, but I mean, obviously,
why do you gotta say it, Stucky?
It's probably happening.
Who was? Yeah, one of the comments. How do you walk Simmons twice? Yeah, that's a bullpen that's not doing too well.
So that helped us too.
That could help. Yeah.
Niren with the comment that we were talking about a little bit during the game. Credit to the fans that are out there. I know it's a holiday weekend and everybody's, probably a little liquored up and having fun and it's a Friday. But, I mean, they're doing standing ovations for a team that's, more than 15 games under 500 and is going to trade away all of the good players at the deadline.
Right. And it wasn't even like the bottom of the ninth. It was the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the earlier innings when the Cubs were in the middle of that rally.
Some will mock that, and some will say that's what's always been wrong with the Cubs. I will say that's what makes Wrigley Field special.
Yes.
I agree, and I think this is why when people say that, describe Wrigley as like the world's most expensive beer garden, whatever, and it's a bunch of not real fans that are just there to hang out and drink beer.
Cody paid the same price on the south side for beer.
Yeah,
I would say
that's true. I did.
My answer to that would be, look at how they respond. They recognize that this is a crucial moment in the game. It doesn't matter that they're X number of games below 500. They care about what happens right here, and they see that we've got a full count in the 8th inning in a 1-run game, and so they're on their feet, and they're cheering and applauding, and they do that every single game. It's always like that. So this isn't, a bunch of bandwagon fans that don't really understand the game that just want to hang out at a cool stadium and drink beer. They care about what happens on the field regardless of what the team's record is.
Well, I mean, I said it, after the Cubs lost 19-5 to the Padres and had that gigantic rant, there were like more than 50 people in the stream that night, and the Cubs are the Cubs of this year, not good. And it was like 11:30 p.m. There were people in the chat screaming, pissed off. Like, people care about this baseball team. I honestly get like heartburn when people just try to tell me that Cubs fans are a bunch of bandwagon followers who just want to go to Wrigley to have a good time. Sure, yeah, there's a lot of tourists, but like, this fan base was built thanks to WGN. That's not a dig at Marquee at all. But like, there's a lot of us, all right? And again, when you get a standing ovation, when Christopher Morel gets a standing ovation after he takes a ball to the groin, like, it's different here, bro. It's
so
absolutely
Rachel says
different.
It's just different here.
It's just
and I mean, and your point about they know when to cheer, like, that was the longest cup snake I've seen at Wrigley Field, and yet they all stood and held the cup snake over their head at the appropriate time. And so there's still the good time vibes.
That's right.
But also the paying attention to the baseball.
That's the right balance of having a good time, paying attention. Because I've been at other stadiums, not to mention any place specifically, but perhaps on the other side of this city, where they're doing the wave in the 4th inning of a 1-run game. Just saying, there's a difference.
Unfortunately, there were some fans trying to start the wave last night.
Oh, can't
you put a stop to that?
I did. Was
it you or Bleacher Jeff that laid down the law?
It was all of us in left field. They tried to start it on the third base side, like up by the Bartman area, and like it started going, and then it came to left field, and people started yelling. People were like cursing at people.
Honestly, I don't care, but that's just me. Like, whatever.
I'm not really opposed to the wave in general, but I feel like it's situational. You know, is it the right moment for this? And again, at the ballpark, which shall not be named,
yes.
When they're doing the wave, when it's a 1-run game in the 4th inning, I think, man, you guys have already checked out on this game. That's not a good sign. So, yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
They might have had a lot of those meat sticks at the CHGO tailgate. And
everybody
who wouldn't check out after 10 meat sticks, good as they are? So let's talk. You know, this is one. We agree. It was a nice showing by the fans. It's been nice to see full crowds every once in a while. It's why Cubs fans don't deserve what's coming in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's why they don't deserve what's coming at the end of the month. However, it is coming.
Do you have
It's
to?
inevitable.
Come
no,
on,
no.
Luke, it is Friday.
I know, but it's the positive side of this.
Okay, you spin zone it. Let's hear it.
Ian Happ. Stock up, 3 for 5, right?
Yeah.
Against a team that's looking for help.
And a switch
Absolutely.
hitter?
Switch hitter.
Everybody likes
Anybody
that.
that's watching, you just saw him do it against the Red Sox. This wasn't the Reds. Wilson Contreras, 3 walks. Stock goes up. Put another one up. Robertson, stock up. Chris Martin, stock up. This was everything you wanted, Cody. The guys that are individually needing to play well that you can't do anything about are playing well right now. Kyle Hendricks, if he's going to be traded, has pitched much better recently.
I'm sorry. Right. I'm looking at Rachel's comment. It's Friday and we just won, Luke. Let us have joy.
I am. I'm telling you, all the guys they're going to trade did well today.
Yeah. But
that's just the reality of it.
Right. You got to accept the reality that's coming. And given
I refuse to accept.
Given those circumstances, you know, if you're going to have to trade the guys, then the value is getting to be about as high as it can be.
Yes, I mean, you're rooting for Chris Martin to strike out 3 guys with the tying run on base.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, though. 1, it helped the Cubs win the game. 2, it showed that he can get out of a real nasty jam without the ball even being put in play.
Yeah.
Both of those things are good. You could still cheer for both of them if you want to. I do.
Yeah. And I think there's, you know, it doesn't necessarily, and we'll find out over the next few weeks, you know, and I've said it before, but I think by August 2nd, we will know just what the front office thinks about how soon this team can be a contender again. Because if they do, I'm not advocating for them trading guys like Ian Happ, because I think if they do trade him, then that to me says, oh, they don't think they're going to win for a while.
Right.
I don't believe that's the case. So I don't expect or necessarily want him to be traded. But if it's going to come to that, you want his trade value as high as you can get it. I don't even think they should be trading Wilson Contreras.
I think both guys should be offered deals and re-signed.
Yeah.
If I was running the organization, which obviously I'm not, I have no chance of ever doing that. Both guys would be offered deals that are fair. Whatever that fair deal is, it seems like both of those guys could be pieces of the future. Neither one is going to break the bank with some massive deal.
Right.
And you would have some carryover from one team to the other. It would speed up the process for the rebuild, however long that still might be. And you'd still have you're not, costing yourself prospects. You're not really costing yourself prospects. Just a couple guys be coming back. I just think it's the right move. Neither one of them is 33 years old. Both of them are having the best year of their career. The only side to it that I can give the Cubs on this is it is the best year for both, and you could be selling them at their absolute peak.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I can give them if they've made up their mind on it. But fans should want to see them stay.
Yeah. I thought Corey and Brennan had some good conversation about the two when they did the series recap show yesterday or last night. And, the way I look at it at this point with Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras is if the Cubs plan on actually competing, like actually competing in 2023, if they believe it, or even if right now they don't necessarily believe it, but they want to, like if they actually want to compete for a division title in 2023, I think you got to at least keep one of them. I understand moving Contreras because it is a contract year, and
agreed.
But Ian Happ has one more year of control, and again, I don't think he will, like Luke said, he won't break the bank. I think you could get a really, like, a Ben Zobrist or Seiya Suzuki type contract extension with him done, and I think that isn't going to hurt you long term. It's not going to, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not like you're giving away $200 million like you did to Jason Hayward, even though that is close to $200 million. But again, it's not a gigantic contract like that. Contreras, he might be a higher AAV because he is the best offensive catcher in the league, but like, again, because of his position, it's not going to be no 7 or 8 year deal. Even JT Realmuto didn't get a deal like that. I think his was around 4 or 5 years. Again, the Cubs should be competing for a division title every year because of the market, because of how much money is within the organization, the payroll flexibility, and I know majority of the big prospects are in low A, high A right now, but you got guys coming on the way. You at least with Contreras and Happ, and now you're seeing Christopher Morel emerge as a stud, and then you add in guys like, we talk about Velasquez or Crook, and I don't know what those guys are going to be, but we're going to find out by the rest of the year. Like and Nico Horner. How did I forget Nico Horner? Like, you have some guys there to go around with them. Like, this should not take 3 or 4 years. And if you trade those two guys, but also say, we've heard in rumors that say that the Cubs are going to spend this offseason, like big, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, again, because of the organization they are, the fact that they're not the Kansas City Royals or the Detroit Tigers, even though the Detroit Tigers actually spent some money this last offseason, because of who they are, they should be competing for a division title every year. This team should be better than what the record is, and I think we can all sit here and agree with that. Some things have derailed that, and we've talked about that. But what we're seeing since the Cardinals series, honestly, is kind of like what I felt like I was going to expect this year. Yeah, there's been ups and downs, but whenever you get solid starting pitching, you're going to have a chance to win. And honestly, since last week, the Cubs have had solid starting pitching. Keegan Thompson, Justin Steele, Kyle Hendricks, they've been very good. And, Adrian Sampson wasn't electric today, but he 8 innings. He gave you 5 strong. You add in Marcus Stroman back in with that. We're gonna see Caleb Killian eventually again too. I don't know if he's gonna pan out, but there's high upside there. I mean, the guy throws 96-mile-an-hour sinkers. Come on now, like the guy has the talent. He gets the command under control, and who knows? We've seen him have success in his major league debut. We've seen him have some rough goes. Mm-hmm. That's all part of the process. So, again, to me, it's like you got to let these young guys play. But if you trade away Contreras and Happ together, it's like, okay, then
it's
like giving up.
Right. Yeah, you're like giving up,
that
and
way,
it
like
just
you're
doesn't
giving
make
up.
sense to me.
And
I get trading like Robertson and Martin and Givens and even Wisdom.
You have to trade those guys.
Yeah, and even guys like Wisdom and Ortega. I get that. Those guys are older, and you can't bank on them being good in 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that with guys like Contreras and Happ because they're still in their 20s. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think this is why within the next few weeks, I think you're really going to have a firm sense for what the front office thinks of where they stand. And to me, and not that I want to necessarily want to say that it all hinges on one guy, but I do think Ian Happ, it would be a very telling move because they do have another year of team control. It's not like Contreras where they're in a position where you kind of have to do something one way or the other. You could just let it play out because he's still, he has another year of arbitration next season. So If they did trade him, that to me would be a pretty significant sign that, okay, they don't see contention for a while. But, Cody, to the point that you're making, I don't see why they couldn't contend sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all on the same
Again,
page.
when you look back at that roster in 2011, 2012, and you see all that, like, dead money and, like, all of the bad contracts and, like, the farm system being, like, awful, that makes sense on why you go into a rebuild like they did. The Cubs are not in that position now.
Right. It's not the same for sure.
Yeah.
Cody, the Cubs won, but you did not financially. Tell us what happened on PointsBet.
Well, you know, the Payne parlay, I thought Xander Bogaerts was going to have a big day, and he did. He did get one hit. He didn't get an RBI. He didn't hit a homer, and I needed him to get 2 hits as well. So even though he got a hit, it didn't really change anything. And then I also bet the Red Sox. And, I mean, honestly, what I should have done, and I'm going to tell you about it here in a second, but I should have live bet the Cubs. I could have made so much money if I just live bet the Cubs when they were down 4-0. I mean, and I could have done it on my favorite app, guys, on PointsBet. It is my favorite app. I wake up every morning. I roll over, I grab my phone off my side table, and I'm like, got to check the lines, baby. It's a new day. After a bad night, it's like, okay, time to get back on the horse, see how we can do better. I do it on PointsBet. It's my favorite app, like I said. And not only because of sports betting, but also because it's the best way to support CHGO. If you download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up, if you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free T-shirt like the ones that Jared and Luke are wearing from the CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. You can get that Hey Chicago, what do you say shirt too. I'm about to buy that here in a few days.
Already purchased.
Good for Stucky. Bad on me. I'm wearing Obvious shirts, but we support Obvious shirts. They're good friends of mine. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. You're home for live in-play betting. Just got even better. See an edge in the game you're watching. Is your favorite team prime for a comeback? The Cubs live today. If you bet the Cubs money line live down 4-0, you are rolling in dough right now. Like you are Mr. Moneybags. Don't just watch
Mrs. Moneybags.
Or Mrs. Yes, we don't discriminate here. Don't just watch the game. Bet along with it live. More live betting, more live markets, and faster live cash outs. Follow along with your bets the moment they hit and stay in the live action all game long. Download the PointsBet app right now and use promo code CHGO. So what are you waiting for? It's time to elevate your live betting game. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
Got to tell you guys about Owen, which stands for Only What You Need. Owen is a 100% plant-based protein shake that gives you nutrition that's working as hard as you do. All of their products are free of artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy, easily digestible. I first heard about it when I found out that, sure enough, Justin Fields was doing a plant-based diet. He was in on Owen. And now Owen and CHGO have partnered up to give you an awesome offer, 20% off your first purchase at liveowen.com. That's LIVEOWYN.com. With the code CHGO20. Join me, Justin Fields, and all other great athletes out there. Only what you need. I like to group myself in with Justin Fields and I have the same protein shake.
I have a buddy who sent me a Snapchat of his Owen showing up. And
you did?
Yeah, he sent me a Snapchat. He's like, I had to try it out. You guys won't shut up about it. I was like, hell yeah, baby. We're just here to give you good stuff. Good promo codes too.
Guess what? I heard that little music before we did the promos, and there he is, Ryan Herrera,
Speaking
checking
of good
in.
stuff.
Checking in. Plant-based, too, I think.
Oh, how's it going?
Pretty good. Never thought that win was coming, to be honest with you. 4-0, I was checked out for a little while. Started
Definitely,
eating lunch, thought, well, this is over. Let me know when the 7th inning stretch hits. But sure enough.
Luke, I looked in the chat, and it looks like you made people sad. What's that all about?
Nothing. I was they weren't letting me finish the idea. I was just saying that everything that happened was good. In fact, in addition to the win, all of the guys that are going to be traded And some people just haven't accepted that yet. Also played very well. And I think both things are good. We had a win-win situation.
I too was included on the being upset at Stuckey.
Cody just didn't want to hear anything. Rachel was another. They just don't want to hear
positive vibes
about it. Yeah, they only want. And I said that is a positive vibe. The guys that are getting traded,
he's trying to
are
spin zone.
Playing well right now. That's the spin zone. Let me tell you another thing that was really positive, and I'm curious what was said after the game about him, because I think Morel's last couple days were not only impressive, they were critical. Like, he came out, went to the bottom of the order, fixed what was bothering him with those strikeouts for a short stretch, and now he's adjusted back to the league, and he's had some great games again. Like, did he talk after the game? Was anything said about him? Because I'm so impressed with what he has done in the last 2 or 3 days after having a really tough stretch.
Yeah, I mean, Ross talked about him, especially these last 3 games. 3 straight games with a home run. We had him going down to the 9th hole for a couple games there. I know Ross talked about bringing him, or maybe taking an at bat away, like less pressure in the 9 hole, letting him find the timing again that he had been working for him for so long. And yeah, I mean, these last 3 games, Ross said it. It's nice to watch guys come out on the other side. He talks about the attitude that Morel has kept. He's never kind of wavered from that, even through the couple of weeks of struggling, striking out a lot, whatever it is. And obviously, changing things up, mixing it up a little bit for Morel is obviously these last 3 games helped. But Ross even said, there was a lot of those games he was still getting like 1 for 4, he was still getting a hit, only a couple offers in there. So he's like, if your struggles is still getting a hit every game, like you're probably not struggling too much, and you're just going through a rough patch. So it's just very clear how much they really like Chris Morel on being on this team. Again, that attitude that he brings, never really has a frown. There's always a smile on his face, never gets angry. And then these last 3 games, impressive. The 3 home runs themselves, but the defense moving around the field, just putting the ball in play. 5 for 5 yesterday. Just a good little quick bounce back from a couple weeks of struggling. Obviously, you want to see it keep happening, but 3 games now in a row that looks like I tweeted out the GIF. It's like I think I got my swagger back, right? And that sounds like what it looks like. That's what Chris Morel, that's where he's at.
Should we get who you got out of the way?
I mean, it's a good day if your name's Cody.
No. I think
Ryan.
we should.
Poor Ryan.
We're going to let Ryan vent a little bit. He's very upset.
We should scrap this because it's not fair. I go bold. I pick Crook, right? I pick Crook. I go bold. And he comes up, bases are loaded. I mean, what was the score at that point? It was a chance to tie the game, right? And bases are loaded. Yeah, it was 4-2, bases loaded. Like, this guy could have cleared the bases and given the Cubs the lead. I'm like, you know what? Perfect opportunity. I'll just give me the win right now. All of a sudden, they make a pitching change, and then Ross pinch hits for him. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, that just killed my ability to win.
Did you say anything after the game? You should have started the press conference with that. Like,
time.
Do you know who you got was on the line? What the hell were you doing?
There's high stakes here.
I'm giving him the cold shoulder for now. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring it up to him. But no, I think it's only fair that what? When did he get pinch hit for? Does anyone remember?
I mean,
Ortega.
that's why it was a bold pick, though.
Ortega, yeah.
It's only fair that we only go based on what happened in the first 5 innings. It's only fair. Until
then the Cubs lose. No.
There you go.
I will. Cody, he clearly won this one. I thought I had a shot too, because I was in the same situation. I had Wisdom up with the bases loaded, and I said 2 guys on, and I said, well, you know what happens here? A home run pushes me ahead because we'd have the same amount of RBI, and I'd have the home run that put him ahead, yada, yada, yada. And they didn't intentionally walk him, but they threw 4 pitches, not even near the plate. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you are. Cody's got it. I mean, you had 3 walks. You could make an argument for second place.
Contreras had a pretty good game. But it's really hard to not give it to Morel, the game tying home run.
Yeah, I mean, again, Christopher Morel. We talked about it, Luke. We said if he struggles for a week, then
that's not a problem. But if he strikes out 4 times a game for like 3 weeks straight, then that's something like confidence-wise.
This guy's here to stay. No AAA. Don't feed me your loyalty, David Ross. We want Christopher Morel here to stay. Play Velasquez. Play Crook. That's all if I had to ask for one thing the rest of the season, it's to play those 3 guys.
Morel, Cook, Velasquez.
Yeah. Well, I think Morel,
and obviously Ian Happ and all of them, but I'm just saying is we want to see young guys play. Like that we're at that like where the Cubs are. We got to see these young guys play.
The nice thing about Morel is the defensive flexibility makes that easier to do.
For sure.
Today's a great example of that. Starts the game at second base.
Ended up in center.
Up to center field.
Yep.
They're going to find a way to keep that guy in Chicago. I don't see him getting sent down even, no matter what happens. And honestly, again, to go back to some of the trade stuff, when depending on how that goes,
5 killer.
he's gonna have a spot. I'm not too worried about it.
And by the way, I love that Ryan is going to give a little cold shoulder here to Rossi the next couple days.
Yeah, I like that move.
I can see. I wonder if like next homestand, Ross is going to be going out and he's going to be like, "Hey, you guys, do you feel like Herrera's giving me a little bit of the ice out?"
He's probably going to approach you eventually and say, "Hey, did I do something to offend you? Have I hurt you?"
I like Mizzou. I like Mizzou too.
He's going to seek you out. He will come find you like during batting practice and say, "Ryan, I feel like I owe you an apology. I don't know why, but I just feel it."
H-Dog, what did I do to you?
H-Dog, yes.
Yeah, something like that. I and you guys say Cody clearly won. I don't think so. Because Crook, you look at the box score maybe, but Crook didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance. I mean, there's three more plate appearances he could have had to hit 3 more home runs. So I don't know. This one's under protest.
He might have hit 3 more home runs. That's true.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. So I'm under protest. Like I'm protesting this week.
You don't accept it.
And it's happening.
Well, it is your American right. You can do that, but as we've seen throughout time, and protest doesn't always work. So
yeah, and my guy did walk.
Hey.
My guy did walk, but your guy had 3 walks.
Yeah.
So.
I can't believe we waited till until the second segment to talk about Christopher Morel, though. We really didn't talk about him in the first segment.
Thank you, Katie. Justice for Ryan. Justice for Ryan right there on the screen. I agree.
See, we're going to start a movement.
Recount.
He's going to be thinking about this in his sleep tonight.
Yes.
What about how about a little gold star for Sampson in the bullpen, Ryan? Like, I mean, sure there were the early runs. That wasn't great, but they kept him in it. And again, a lot of the bullpen guys, trade value guys against the Red Sox, but I mean, they did a nice job of keeping this a manageable game when it looked like it was going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, and Ross talked about, especially Sampson early on, he got the 4 runs in 2 innings, struggled obviously, and then talked about how he kind of switched up the game plan. I guess the fastball was kind of getting hit, the heater, and kind of switched things up. And then when that happened, what was it? He retired like 9 in a row, something like that, between the 3rd and the 5th. I don't know. It was something along those lines. But he got into a groove, figured some things out. I think it was there in the 6th inning or the 5th inning that he couldn't really make it out of. Was it the 5th inning? I might be miscounting. Anyway, didn't make it out of, and then the bullpen comes in and picks him up. No runs allowed, whatever it is. No runs allowed from the bullpen. Comes in, picks him up. Chris Martin, 3 striking on the side, man. That was Chris Martin's been doing really well lately. You can pretty much count on Scott Effross to get you through things, and then David Robertson at the back end, that 700th career appearance today, 37 years old, and still locking things down in the 9th inning. I mean, it was a very once Sampson kind of got out of those first couple innings and started to figure things out. The pitching looked great. Red Sox, I think, had they had 6 or 7 base runners the whole last 7 innings of the game. The pitching figured things out, and we talk about the offense and putting, stringing hits and walks and getting all that stuff together. But it really was the pitching, like you said, Luke, after that second inning, figuring things out and just keeping the game close. So when the offense started to get rolling a little bit, the game was close and they had the chance to make that comeback, which obviously happened. So impressive performance. A little, kind of on the gutsy side, I think, from Sampson again to bounce back from those couple innings at the beginning. But just all around a good team win against a really good Boston team.
I just wanted to bring up that sort of a national story and see what kind of reaction we can get from the chat, from Ryan, from you guys. It's Bobby Bonilla Day, by the way. July 1st, every year he gets his $1 million plus from the Mets. And I was looking at it. So it was 2000. Mets bought out his remaining $5.9 million on his deal. Instead, they decided to pay him $1.2 million for 25 years, starting July 1st, 2011. 8% interest, so he still gets that check. I mean, the guy hasn't been playing for 22 years. He's still making $1 million. He's making more than Edmund on the Cardinals. Yeah. There's a lot of baseball players he's making more than still, and he hasn't played in decades.
Than a lot of guys on the Cubs, honestly.
And I was looking up other deferred money deals that are still getting paid. Ken Griffey Jr. Still getting paid for his deal in 2000. He's got 2 more years. Scherzer getting paid through 28, $105 million from the Nats. So who is the player, Cubs player, you would like to see the franchise pay for basically forever? Some amount. And for what reason? Because the first thing I saw was buyout. And I thought, well, it feels like they're paying Jason Hayward forever.
So I was going to say, are we approaching this as we're buying you out so as to get you off?
Well,
of the
however you
field,
want to think about it,
we want to. Okay.
Is a guy you would like to see bought out? You go ahead and pay him 26 years from now when I'm old, really old. Or
I think Jason Hayward is a prime candidate for this, and for both the good reasons and the bad. So we'll talk about the bad ones first. Obviously, performance not been there. Offensively has struggled more or less his entire time in Chicago. So, yes, maybe you buy him out so that you free up the roster spot and we don't have to worry about an outfield crunch.
You want to be loyal to him.
Well, be loyal.
Pay him for the next 25 years what's left.
But the flip side of that is the positive reason might be Jason Hayward is I would say one of the better is like a human being.
Yeah, he's been great for the community.
Yeah, one of the better guys I've interacted with in the clubhouse, and just seeing how he is in the community. I don't know if was it yesterday there was that stuff in Marquee about like the
ball field.
The place he's building
it in Austin.
So super invested
Austin neighborhood, I should say.
in the community. So maybe you couch it as we want to buy you out and honor your contributions to this team and to the city, but please don't take the field anymore.
Yeah, what do you think, Cody? Who would you like? Or is there somebody from the past, like, or maybe it's Christopher Morel? You're really in love with Morel. I was expecting Brendan to jump in here and be like, Nico Horner, pay him for the next 30 years.
Well, I mean, an obvious choice is like any from the old core, maybe, if like they would have been able to get a contract extension done. Like, it just felt right that Rizzo was going to be here forever and that we would just pay him forever. But as far as anyone on that active roster, I mean, if it's not Hayward, if Kyle Hendricks wasn't pitching well right now, I mean, and you wanted him to go away, I mean, but he is pitching. He's still got it. You know what I mean?
Nobody has said Wilson Contreras yet. Pay Wilson to stay for the next 10 years.
I mean, just thing is,
might be a lot. 10 years is a little excessive.
Yeah. I mean,
7 maybe.
You get my point.
You can have, I guess, shorter term contracts. I guess, like, I was reading this thread today because of the day that it is. I was reading a thread that someone tweeted out. I wish I could remember the account, but there's a thread of all these different deferred contracts of just major players that got paid, and Jason Hayward happened to be part of that thread actually. But even players that are good, that are playing well, like I saw Nolan Arenado's name. I saw, King Griffey Jr. And all of them.
Todd Helton, I think.
Yeah, like there's a lot of players, and they don't have the the guy from the Mets, but you know, like it's
Bobby Bonilla day.
Very interesting how some guys like they just get all this deferred money. Just imagine being Bobby Bonilla and just like getting a check every year for $1.2 million. Like I don't even like it's. I'm so jealous of that. I would live for that.
Who isn't? Like
I
would
wonder
live for that.
Yeah.
Ryan, what say you?
I didn't have one, but I was also kind of like, what if we thought about it in the other way, Luke? The way you phrased it is, what player would you like to see the Cubs pay forever? What if you looked at it like, it's like a player that's not even on the Cubs, and then you pay him forever, right?
Yeah.
Soto, Ohtani, Trout, like those guys. Those guys would be. There's definitely a few guys out there that Cubs fans would be like, you know what, give this guy a lifetime contract. Like, bring him to Chicago, give him a lifetime contract. I don't know. I don't really have one off the top of my head. There's
Ryan, what about like a Correa? Like you're trying to get Correa for 1 year. You know, they could have just given him $35 million for 1 year. Why not offer him $6 million for the next, you know, an absurd amount of time? But at least it's only $6 million a year you're paying him.
Right.
Only.
Just
Well, you know, in 20 years, $6 million is not going to be that much.
Yeah, you're right.
But I like that approach. Go at it as a who don't we have yet?
Yeah,
and use that to bring them here.
It's an interesting.
Wasn't it Magic Johnson?
I like it.
Was it Magic Johnson that had like a $30 million for 30 years or something like that, and then it ended up being like the $1 million after a decade was like worth so much less than the million it was when he first signed it.
Yeah, some guys have made mistakes.
25?
Bobby Bonilla did not make a mistake. Now, his $1 million paycheck is worth, you know, technically less today than it would have been then, but they only had to buy him out for a certain amount of money. He's made more long term if he invested it even slightly wisely just to get $1 million check a year. Like, he's already wealthy.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet to get $1 million in new money coming in every year.
I want to know the story, like who came up with that idea and what was like, what
other guys were doing it. Like
Griffey's
the same year the deal was made. The deal was made because the Mets were in, what's his name, Bernie Madoff, one of his accounts, and they thought that fund was going to make so much money that paying that off would be nothing. It turns out that was a disaster, and it wasn't. Like their current owner, Cohen, I guess, even joked about it on Twitter today, saying like, happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes, he did.
Like,
I saw that.
You know, they got to pay it off.
Jack says 60 years, $300 million. That's $5 million per year for Correa.
Right.
Yeah.
See, it was Bernie Madoff's idea.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So, anyways, Ryan, any other nuggets out there? I know there were some injury updates before the game a little bit, right?
What were they? It feels like so
Weren't
long
some guys
ago.
throwing? Was Stroman on the hill today
Yeah,
for a bullpen?
Stroman and Smiley were set to throw bullpens, which I think we knew about that already. Like I think that was kind of the set day from earlier this week. What was it?
Bodie's okay.
They had DH today. Yeah, Bodie's. We talked to Bodie a little bit. You know, he said he's sore. You know, he said it. The collision kind of looked as bad or felt as bad as it looked. But I think, you know, he was actually on deck before. He was supposed to pinch it for Rivas, I think. Before Rivas flew out, Bodie was on deck, which would have been a pinch hit situation, and then they did the pitching change, and then Bodie went back, and Rivas came back out to hit. So I feel like he's feeling okay, just a little sore. Suzuki's DHing, or DHing in Iowa today. I don't know if they've played yet, but he's DHing today. He hit a home run yesterday, by the way, too. Like that was a good update to get. Just some, you know, guys, other stuff. I know like Madrigal and Schwindel are still kind of working their way back into things. I don't know how, you know, Corey asked the question yesterday, and I think we've talked about it too, as far as like Seiya's timeline. We haven't really gotten a clear sense of when, you know, what the timeline looks like or when he'll be back in Chicago. I know Ross has talked about just kind of, you know, not putting a set date on it and just kind of listening to Seiya and the trainers and the coaches out in Des Moines and kind of taking their word and seeing, you know, then kind of figuring out when he's ready to go through that. But yeah, it could be that he can meet them in Milwaukee. It could be him meeting them in LA. So I think there's potential for him to be back as soon as next weekend. I wouldn't say to expect it, but I think you can kind of look for that. And if it doesn't happen, it probably will be a few more days. Probably won't be more than another week-ish, until the end of that Dodgers series, I would say. But we'll don't want to speculate too much on that. We'll kind of just get that info when we get it. Also, I just saw in the post-game notes, the Cubs post-game notes, Rafael Ortega has driven in a run in a career-high 7 straight games. The longest stretch by a Cub since Rizzo went 8 straight from June 2nd to 11th, 2018. So Rafael Ortega is nearly Anthony Rizzo, is what I'm taking from that.
See, there you go. Who needs Rizzo? No.
Trade value. It's
Trade value up. That's it.
Stock is so high.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there for you guys. Holiday weekend, can really wear you down. But if you want to start your day with a competitive edge, Strava CBD coffee is a game changer. It's helped thousands of people improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Delivers a delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with an organic broad spectrum CBD. CBD from hemp, it doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer real benefits that could help you this weekend, especially feel alert and focused without the jitters around all those fireworks. Live your day more balanced, less anxiety, fewer aches and pains. Plus, including CBD in your daily routine can even help you have a more restful sleep so you wake up feeling your best. And the best part, it's all quality. Small batch, fresh and shipped straight to your door. Strava offers the full concentration of CBD as well in their tinctures, looking for a more traditional CBD format with the powerful entourage of benefits there. Now, CHGO listeners can save 25% off the entire purchase using the code CHGO25. That's 25% off at StravaCraftCoffee.com using the code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases only, one use per customer. And if you already love this stuff, like Cody, subscribe and save and use the Strava Coffee Club. You're in control with that coffee club. Save on your favorite coffees, have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule. Game 2 of this series, by the way, Alec Mills followed by Keegan Thompson this weekend. That I thought was another good thing about Sampson coming back, saving the bullpen a little bit. You don't know what you're going to get out of Mills sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you don't know if you're going to need him, need the bullpen again possibly on Saturday. So I think that was kind of key.
Yeah. Mills was the starter in the 6-5 comeback against the Cardinals, I believe. So you're hoping for a bounce back tomorrow? Is it weird? I'm starting to get that feeling of Keegan Thompson's starting on Sunday. Let's chalk up a W because this guy shoves. You know what I mean? Am I jumping ahead there? I can't wait to watch Keegan Thompson Sunday night or Sunday afternoon
I'm right
against
there
the
with
Red
you.
Sox.
Yeah.
I genuinely can't wait. He has become must-see TV in my eyes.
I think, he's reached the point where I look forward to Keegan Thompson starts because I have high hopes. I expect good things. So, I think he's earned that for sure.
All right,
Bobby
I'm not jumping
Bonilla,
ahead.
Bobby Bonilla only comes once a year.
Keegan
Bobby
Thompson.
Bonilla Day. Keegan Thompson Day.
Every fifth.
Every fifth day.
Yeah, baby. I understand the Cubs are what? 15 under, Ryan? Are we 15 under 500?
Yes.
I understand.
But Brendan would say they're only a 15-game winning streak away from 500.
For sure.
So,
and I love that mentality. But, again, 15 games under 500, July 1st. We're undefeated in July. The Cubs have won 2 consecutive series. There's no reason, there's plenty of reason. But if they could actually win this weekend series against the Red Sox, all I'm saying is that it's just good. At the end of the day, if they do that, that means a lot of the young guys played well this weekend. And what do we want to see? We want to see young guys play. We want to see growth. We want to see all these things, all right? So that's what I am hopeful for. I'm actually hopeful for wins this weekend. The Cubs are playing well right now. Got to savor the flavor, guys, because it could be 10-game losing streak bad or, let's win a series in St. Louis, beat up on the Reds, and then make a comeback against the Red Sox. I don't understand baseball. I don't understand life. But we just ride the roller coaster, baby. That's what the season's all about. And again, I said this off air. I was like saying this to Luke and Jared. You know, perhaps if the Cubs just have an insane July, not saying they get back to 500, but if they just have an insane July where they play themselves to like at least not like to under 10, under the 10 game under 500 mark, perhaps maybe they won't sell every single piece. Yeah. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking in July. Because I don't want to see Contreras or Happ gone, or I don't want to see them both gone.
Cody's wrapped it up. There it is, America, land of dreams.
The
Cubs could just get this to 9 games under.
If there's anything we as Cubs fans should root for in July, is for them to actually play well. That way, perhaps, maybe, they won't sell the entire roster off. I understand we're going to sell, but maybe not the entire roster. That's what I'm looking for in the month of July.
And they started it off the right way then.
Yeah, undefeated. 1-0 in our last one. 3-0 in our last 3. We're going streaking, baby.
Hey, make sure you get the membership to CHGO so you can read Jared, Ryan, really good stuff on Kyle Hendricks.
What were we going to say, Ryan?
Is that unlocked, by the way, Ryan?
Yes. Myself and Brendan, a little story, a big story on Kyle Hendricks potentially adding a new weapon to his pitch arsenal. That's as much of a tease as I can go. It's over at allchgo.com. It's unlocked. So even if you're not a subscriber, you can read it, but I recommend, subscribing because there'll be more good stuff to come. I was also going to say, I saw it in the chat, but aren't they like 3-0 since Fabian became an all-star?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Something like that? Yeah, right? So
I thought it was Fabio for the longest time.
Is it Fabio?
Fabian?
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 Fabian is Fabian. It's the same name. It's the same name.
It's a legend either way. Yeah.
It's Fabs. Either way, it's Fabs.
Fabs.
Yeah.
And then there was one more thing. Hashtag savor the flavor. That's the new trend. Hashtag savor the flavor. I like it.
Sounds good. What you guys got anything going for 4th of July? Big stuff? We have no podcast on the 4th.
Yeah, I know. The 4th itself, I don't know yet, but I live in the greatest summer city in the Midwest or possibly America, so I'm sure I'll be doing something.
Chicago on the 4th of July is
hard to beat.
Yeah.
Pretty much like St. Patrick's Day. They go large.
We will
go large on the fireworks displays.
I shall be vibing, as I like to say.
I shall be savoring the flavor. Savor the flavor.
Yeah. Savor the flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Keep all your fingers.
For sure.
Please keep all your fingers if you still
Jared,
have
are you going to be at the game Sunday?
I will be at the game Sunday.
Okay.
So I'll get to see Keegan Thompson in person.
Who's going to the game on Monday? Or are they on the road?
They're on the road.
They're on the road,
by Monday.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Cubs win. Let's see if they can get a series against the Red Sox. That'd be kind of a cool way to celebrate 4th of July weekend, no?
That'd be nice, yeah.
Let's go for it.
Again, savor the flavor. Get
Cubs,
it trending, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll be looking for your stuff. Don't forget to go check out that article about Kyle Hendricks, unlocked right now, and then sign up so you get your free shirt and all the stuff.
And then you can read all the stuff.
You can read Jared's stuff on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cubs win. Thanks for dropping by. The CHGO Cubs Postgame Show presented by PointsBet. We'll be back next week for sure. Have a great holiday weekend, and feel free to fly the W 3 in a row. Is that a W? Kind of close?
Yeah.
Yeah.